Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, allow yourself to gently drift into relaxation as we embark on a quiet journey through time and across serene landscapes into the distant and mysterious past. Tonight's journey brings us to Southeast Asia, a region rich with hidden wonders, serene landscapes dotted with enigmatic ancient stones, and stories whispered softly by the passing breeze. As you lay comfortably, let your breathing slow and imagine yourself standing atop a gentle rolling hillside. Around you, the soft hum of insects merges with the whispering grass under moonlit skies. Scattered across this landscape are thousands of massive stone jars, silently standing as they have for thousands of years, their origins quietly waiting to be unveiled. Tonight's exploration, calm, curious, and filled with quiet wonder, invites you into the mysteries of Indochina's ancient megalithic fields. We'll wander slowly, immersively, through the daily lives of the ancient people who once inhabited this region, explore the enigmatic rulers who commissioned these extraordinary stone jars, linger on the unresolved archaeological puzzles of the Plain of Jars, and uncover the secrets of the ritualistic societies whose whispers still echo softly in the historical ether. Feel yourself relax deeper now, settling into comfort as our journey begins gently with the rhythm of everyday mysteries. Segment 1. Everyday Mysteries. Life among ancient Indochinese. Communities and the enigmatic uses of megalithic jars. Imagine yourself transported to a time long before the bustling cities, quiet highways, and lush farms of modern Southeast Asia. This is ancient Indochina, a time of peaceful simplicity, yet wrapped in layers of quiet mystery. Picture small, scattered communities nestled within verdant valleys and atop rolling hills. Villages appear modest, their structures crafted from bamboo and thatched leaves, a delicate balance between human effort and the abundant gifts of nature. As dawn breaks gently, a soft mist curls slowly across the hills, shrouding everything in a serene mystery. Villagers awaken slowly, their lives attuned not to the ticking of a clock, but to the quiet rhythms of the seasons. The smell of wood smoke drifts lazily through the morning air, mixing with the fresh scents of wet earth and dew-kissed foliage. Daily routines begin quietly, and consistently water is drawn carefully from streams. Rice fields tended meticulously, animals guided gently to pasture. Yet amid this tranquil existence lies an intriguing anomaly. Immense stone jars, some taller than a grown person, rest quietly, scattered across the hillsides in silent clusters. These massive jars, carved from sandstone and granite, their surfaces weathered by centuries of wind and rain, seem to guard secrets of ancient communal life. Imagine yourself quietly walking among these jars. You reach out and gently touch their rough, cool surfaces. Feel the textured grooves left by ancient hands, the quiet echoes of lives once lived. Some jars stand upright, silently watching the valley below. Others lie toppled, as if resting peacefully after an eternity of watchful duty. Despite their imposing presence, their precise purpose remains enigmatic, a puzzle gently teased apart by whispers of history rather than loud declarations. Perhaps these jars were vessels in funeral rites, carefully prepared to honor ancestors whose spirits villagers believed watched over their daily lives. As you listen closely, imagining their gentle rituals, the quiet murmurs of chanting drift through your mind, rhythmic, slow, and comforting. Perhaps these jars stored precious rainwater, life-giving in dry seasons, or rice and grain, sacred and sustaining for the community. The possibilities softly unfurl, endless yet soothingly unsolved. As you wander further into daily village life, you notice a subtle rhythm, comforting in its consistency. Elderly villagers patiently instruct children in simple tasks, from weaving baskets of palm fronds to the art of pottery making, hands working clay smoothly, quietly. Listen closely, and you can almost hear their gentle laughter, interspersed with quiet, murmured stories passed from generation to generation. Meals are communal, serene gatherings where villagers share simple nourishment beneath shaded canopies. Imagine yourself there, tasting warm rice flavored subtly with local herbs, savoring the comforting repetition of daily nourishment. In these moments, life's mysteries seem quietly distant, though never forgotten. The stone jars, silent sentinels in the distance, remain watchful, quiet symbols of unanswered questions intertwined gently within the comforting, rhythmic cycles of ancient life. These jars were, undoubtedly, central to their culture, but precisely how remains quietly shrouded in uncertainty, leaving only gentle, tantalizing clues for archaeologists who, centuries later, attempt to interpret their silent messages. Stone discs, carefully carved, lie scattered near some jars covers, perhaps, or markers, each carrying its own quiet secret, never explicitly revealing its purpose. As twilight descends gently over the hillsides, imagine villagers quietly gathering once again around the jars. Fires flicker softly, illuminating solemn faces as rituals unfold quietly, respectfully. There is no rush, no drama, only the steady, calming rhythm of tradition, comfortingly repetitive and gently mysterious. You feel, rather than fully understand, the solemnity of their actions, the silent reverence for ancestors, nature, and the inexplicable mysteries woven gently into the fabric of everyday existence. And as night finally settles fully over the landscape, villages fall gently silent, surrendering once again to the calm embrace of night. The jars remain, their mysteries held within, watched over only by starlight, and the gentle whispering breeze that quietly murmurs secrets too softly to fully grasp. Allow yourself now to linger a moment more in this quiet, enigmatic world, its rhythm soothing and reassuring. And when you're ready, we will continue gently forward, turning our attention next toward the ancient rulers, enigmatic figures who quietly shaped this mysterious cultural landscape. Historical figure, unknown ancient rulers who commissioned these megalithic fields. Let your imagination drift softly backward again, deeper now into the heart of mystery, to consider the enigmatic figures whose authority quietly shaped the landscape dotted with these massive stone jars. Though their names have long since vanished gently into the silence of history, echoes of their presence remain softly palpable in the stone fields they commissioned, hinting quietly at their power, beliefs, and the gentle complexities of their societies. Imagine yourself standing once more amid these ancient hills, but now at the moment when the jars were first created, centuries before. It's early morning, the air softly cool, gently touched by morning dew. Around you, artisans quietly toil, working in quiet, respectful concentration. Massive stones are carefully selected, painstakingly carved from rock faces, slowly taking shape under patient hands. These hands belong to skilled craftspeople, guided not just by tradition, but by commands from rulers whose quiet authority was felt rather than loudly proclaimed. These unnamed leaders, whose gentle commands carried enough weight to inspire monumental effort, remain hidden from explicit history. Yet their quiet legacy speaks clearly through the stone. Were they chieftains, kings, priestly figures, or perhaps even revered shamans who gently bridged the earthly and the spiritual? we can only gently imagine. In your mind, picture a leader quietly overseeing the work, their figure silhouetted gently against the sunrise. Perhaps they wore simple clothing, subtly woven with symbols of status, their movements calm yet authoritative. They did not need to shout, their quiet presence alone enough to command deep respect. People watched them subtly, reading their silent gestures, the gentle tilt of their head, or the slow sweep of their hand, each motion enough to guide the course of events. Historians softly theorize these rulers may have been revered spiritual figures, quietly believed to hold special connections with the unseen world. Their communities trusted them implicitly, gently surrendering decisions on the placement, size, and ritual meaning of each megalithic jar. The jars themselves were not merely functional objects. They quietly symbolized spiritual power, ancestral reverence, or perhaps subtle political alliances. Each jar a testament to the ruler's quiet influence and the community's gentle devotion. We find quiet clues, too subtle to fully decode, in the way these jars cluster, in careful formations, some solitary, others grouped purposefully. Perhaps each cluster represented a different ruler, a different era of quiet authority. Imagine softly how such leaders might have debated among themselves, voices calm, perhaps sitting around a central fire, quietly determining the exact placements to honor ancestors or align with celestial patterns gently observed in the night sky. Occasionally, subtle archaeological hints emerge, delicate artifacts quietly uncovered nearby. Small bronze ornaments, gentle fragments of pottery, or delicate beads softly suggest the personal items of rulers or their close circles. Each artifact offers quiet, tantalizing whispers of personal stories that remain forever gently hidden. Historians also quietly wonder how these rulers came to power. Were they chosen gently through lineage, softly passed from one generation to another, or did their communities quietly select them for their calm wisdom, spiritual insight, or subtle diplomatic skill? Imagine a community quietly gathered, speaking in hushed tones beneath moonlight, carefully choosing their next leader. These leaders, in turn, were entrusted not only with day-to-day governance, but also quietly tasked with maintaining spiritual harmony through gentle, respectful rituals involving these megalithic jars. Consider softly the responsibility they carried, not through forceful proclamations, but through subtle, consistent actions. Each jar placed was a gentle decision meant to ensure balance, prosperity, or protection. Each decision quietly resonated through generations, influencing lives long after the rulers themselves had quietly departed the stage of history. And when the time came for these leaders to pass quietly from the world, their communities gently commemorated them, possibly through solemn rites and quiet ceremonies, carefully interwoven with the stone jars themselves. Their names faded softly into gentle anonymity, yet their quiet legacy remained solid, unyielding, gently resistant to the passage of time. Tonight, these unnamed ancient leaders invite you gently into contemplation not of grandiose power, but of quiet authority, subtle leadership, and the gentle ways in which their silent presence shaped history. Reflect softly upon these rulers, whose lives we can only gently imagine, whose names we cannot know, but whose quiet influence we feel clearly in the stones they left behind. With these thoughts settling softly within you, let your breathing slow once more, the mystery of their lives gently mingling with your relaxation. Soon, we'll gently shift our attention to a deeper mystery, still the enigmatic plane of jars itself, and the quiet, unanswered questions it continues to whisper softly into the night.
Mystery, plane of jars, purpose, origins, and unsolved questions now. Dear listener, allow your thoughts to drift deeper still into quiet contemplation as we turn our gentle attention toward the heart of tonight's journey, the mysterious plain of jars itself. Stretching across the soft rolling hills of northern Laos, this enigmatic landscape is softly dotted with thousands of stone jars, each one quietly guarding secrets that historians and archaeologists still seek patiently to unravel. Imagine yourself there once again, standing quietly at the edge of this tranquil expanse, beneath a softly luminous sky, stars gently illuminating the fields around you. The jars stretch silently into the distance, their placement seemingly deliberate, yet gently puzzling. Each jar subtly different in shape, size, and orientation. Though you've wandered here before, each return brings quiet new questions, softly unanswered, yet reassuringly intriguing. The origins of these stone jars are carefully cloaked in mystery. Soft whispers of local legends gently suggest giants once roamed here, carving these monumental vessels to hold celebratory drinks after victories, or to quietly mourn fallen comrades after gentle conflicts now forgotten. While charming, these tales offer only quiet glimpses into human imagination rather than factual certainty. Archaeologists, meanwhile, quietly sift through gentle layers of soil, searching softly for clues, delicately uncovering fragments of pottery, subtle remains of charcoal, and small bronze tools. Each artifact hints gently at rituals or everyday use, but never speaks too loudly or definitively, always maintaining a soft ambiguity that refuses to yield its secrets completely. One gentle theory suggests these jars might have been central to quiet funerary rituals, softly placed to mark resting places or sites of ceremonial cremation. Imagine gently how these rituals unfolded quietly, solemn gatherings beneath shaded canopies, mourners softly chanting, carefully placing offerings of food and drink within or around the jars, quietly praying for their loved ones to journey peacefully to realms beyond. But mysteries persist gently even here. Why so many jars clustered closely together? Why others solitary, softly isolated in remote areas? Imagine softly the discussions among historians, quietly debating beneath softly lit lamps, exploring subtle possibilities. Perhaps each cluster represented different families, clans, or gentle tribal affiliations, each carefully marking their own ancestral territory through these quiet monuments of stone. Another gently persistent mystery is the stone-lid circular discs, often found near jars, softly hinting at covers or ceremonial markers. Some lids are intricately carved, gently etched with subtle geometric patterns whose meanings quietly elude understanding. Were these lids symbolic barriers, gently separating the earthly from the spiritual, softly closing one chapter of life to open the next? The quietness of history leaves these questions softly suspended, comforting in their openness, yet persistently intriguing. Beyond practical uses, gentle astronomical alignments have been softly considered. Some researchers quietly note the jar's positions subtly correspond with certain celestial patterns, softly suggesting an ancient awareness of stars and seasons. Picture softly, if you will, ancient eyes gazing gently upward, patiently charting subtle movements of celestial quietly translating their gentle wisdom into earthly monuments. The quiet rhythm of the cosmos, thus softly mirrored in the quiet arrangement of stones. Yet despite decades of gentle study, the plane of jars still patiently holds its secrets. Its mysteries remain gently unresolved, comfortably nestled within the quiet folds of history, softly inviting further contemplation. Perhaps these jars were not merely practical vessels, nor simple funerary monuments, but quiet symbols of broader community harmony, subtle embodiments of shared identity, gently affirming unity across generations. As you linger softly here among these silent sentinels, consider gently that perhaps these jars' true purpose was always intended to remain a quiet mystery, their meaning gently shifting softly from one generation to another, subtly adapting to the gentle changes of human life, always just out of reach, softly guiding contemplation rather than demanding certainty. Allow yourself to breathe gently, relaxing into this serene uncertainty. Let these questions softly lull you into quiet tranquility. Soon, we will quietly turn toward the final segment of our gentle exploration, unveiling softly the hidden world of the secretive societies and ritualistic elites who quietly oversaw these subtle ceremonies, further enriching the gentle tapestry of mystery surrounding Indochina's enigmatic stone jars.
Secretive societies, ritualistic elites, and hidden ceremonies associated with these megaliths. Let us now gently shift our gaze once more, delving quietly into another softly whispered layer of mystery, exploring the lives of the secretive societies and elite individuals whose subtle rituals and ceremonies revolved around these ancient megalithic jars. Picture yourself softly observing from the gentle shadows, invisible, quietly watching the ceremonies unfold beneath the moon's soft glow. These ancient elites, whose identities have gently vanished into historical whispers, were likely key guardians of communal wisdom, quietly entrusted with secrets of spiritual, political, and cultural significance. Imagine softly the quiet authority these individuals carried, their movements deliberate, voices calm, soft, yet deeply respected. Their influence was not loud or ostentatious, but gentle, persistent, carefully woven into the quiet fabric of daily life. As evening falls gently over the Indochinese landscape, imagine yourself witnessing preparations for a secret ceremony. Subtle torches flicker softly around the stone jars, casting gentle, dancing shadows. Elders, perhaps adorned in simple yet symbolic garments, quietly assemble, their faces softly illuminated by firelight, expressions solemn and reflective. Younger members of the community softly observe from a respectful distance, quietly absorbing lessons that will one day become their own gentle burden to carry. Rituals unfold quietly, patiently, without haste. You can softly imagine the careful arrangement of offerings placed around or within these immense stone jars, delicate pottery vessels filled gently with rice, softly wrapped bundles of herbs, carefully prepared food, and small, symbolic bronze objects. Each item is handled with quiet reverence, carefully positioned, accompanied by murmured prayers or gentle chanting that softly drifts into the cool evening air, blending gently with the quiet hum of nocturnal nature. Perhaps certain jars were softly reserved for particular ceremonies, gently distinguished by subtle carvings or positioning within the landscape. These elites knew intimately the quiet significance of each jar, information subtly passed down in secretive oral traditions or symbolic gestures rather than openly documented. Such quiet, guarded knowledge created gentle layers of power, authority subtly maintained through secrecy and symbolism rather than overt dominance. Imagine softly the careful initiation rituals, quietly welcoming new members into these secretive circles. A young initiate stands calmly beneath softly glowing stars, guided gently through rites intended not to frighten, but to instill quiet humility, respect, and a profound sense of belonging. Quiet pledges softly spoken, subtle symbols explained, gently revealing deeper layers of meaning, as initiates softly come to understand their quiet roles in preserving ancestral traditions. These secretive societies quietly held immense responsibility ensuring communal cohesion, managing spiritual harmony, and quietly overseeing delicate negotiations or peaceful resolutions to conflicts within or between communities. Their power lay not in open force, but in gentle persuasion, calm wisdom, and the quiet understanding of symbolic ritual. Imagine softly the gentle authority conveyed through simple gestures, quiet nods, softly spoken words, subtle movements understood clearly by all. In moments of conflict or uncertainty, these elites quietly gathered to deliberate beneath softly flickering torches or the gentle glow of the moon. Conversations quietly unfolded, calm debates gently navigated through patient listening, respectful dialogue, and gentle compromise. Decisions reached were subtly communicated to communities through quiet rituals or symbolic acts involving the jars themselves, softly reinforcing their significance as instruments of communal governance. Consider softly the gentle privilege these elites enjoyed, not in extravagant wealth, but in quiet authority, subtle respect, and exclusive knowledge. Their lifestyles, though elevated, remain gently intertwined with those of the broader community, subtly distinguished only by their role as guardians of tradition, quietly preserving the gentle continuity of ancestral knowledge. Yet these quiet societies were not immune to gentle changes over time. Subtle shifts in power, quiet reinterpretations of rituals, and gentle evolution of beliefs softly influenced how these jars were perceived, used, or abandoned. The jars themselves remained silent observers, their meanings gently shifting, quietly adapting to each subtle transformation. Today, as you softly stand once again amid these stone sentinels, consider gently the echoes of these quiet ceremonies still softly resonating. Though the secret societies themselves have gently dissolved into history's quiet embrace, the stone jars remain gently persistent reminders of softly whispered secrets, quiet power, and subtle rituals that shaped lives for generations.
And now, dear listener, as our gentle journey draws softly to its close, allow yourself a final moment of quiet reflection. We have wandered gently through ancient landscapes, softly encountering daily mysteries, quietly considering forgotten rulers, gently pondering unresolved archaeological enigmas, and softly exploring the secretive societies whose rituals enriched the historical tapestry of these enigmatic stone jars. As you lay comfortably, breathing softly, remember these quiet mysteries, not as puzzles demanding answers, but as gentle invitations to contemplation, softly guiding your thoughts into tranquil dreams. The mysteries of the Indochinese megalithic jars remain gently unresolved, softly reassuring in their permanence, quietly reminding us of history's gentle complexities and comforting uncertainties. Feel yourself relaxing deeper, gently drifting toward sleep, secure in the quiet comfort of present knowledge, softly enriched by a peaceful journey into the mysteries of the past. Good night, dear listener. Rest softly now and dream gently.